So what's more important, telling the absolute truth or protecting someone you love? It seems like a pretty straightforward question, right? Well, the answer reveals something really deep and honestly pretty surprising about how different societies are built. Today we're diving into this idea of a covenant of truth, and believe me, it might just challenge everything you think you know about loyalty.
Okay, let's just jump right in with a question for you. I want you to really imagine this. You're in a courtroom, you're under oath. An innocent friend's freedom is completely on the line, and your testimony? Well, it's the deciding factor. Do you tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, or do you lie to save them?
You see, this isn't just some random hypothetical. It's a fundamental conflict, a real clash of virtues that pretty much everyone feels at some point. It's that fierce personal loyalty we have to our people versus that more abstract societal duty to uphold the truth. It's a genuine ethical minefield.
Now, common sense might tell you that in cultures where, kinship and tribe are everything, loyalty would always win out. It seems totally logical, right? You protect your own no matter what the cost. But what if the data told a completely different and way more fascinating story?
This number, this is right at the heart of our whole explainer today. Positive 0.1955. I know, it might not look like much, but this single data point is about to flip that common sense assumption completely on its head.
So what on earth does this number even mean? Well, it comes from survey data that spanned 47 different countries, and what it shows is a direct, positive link. The stronger a very specific set of traditional values are held, the more likely a person is to say you must not lie in court, even to save someone innocent.
And here is the big twist. That value system is what a developmental model called spiral dynamics refers to as the purple vMEME. We're talking about a worldview that's deeply rooted in kinship, in tribal loyalty, ancestral traditions, and these sacred, unbreakable taboos. So wait a second. The culture that's most focused on loyalty is the one that demands absolute truth above everything else? How does that even work?
This right here, this is the crucial point. For this worldview, your conscience doesn't just change depending on the situation. It's not about trying to calculate the best possible outcome. Nope. It's about upholding a sacred agreement, a covenant. The truth isn't just a fact, it's a pillar holding up the cosmic order.
Here's a great way to think about it. For this mindset, truth isn't just a brick you can move around to build something, it's the actual foundation of the house. So, to lie in a sacred setting like a courtroom isn't just, misleading someone, it's like taking a sledgehammer to the very architecture of your entire world.
And suddenly, the logic becomes crystal clear. From this perspective, lying under oath is literally an act of ritual pollution. It's not just endangering one person, it's contaminating the spiritual balance that protects the entire community. It's breaking this sacred boundary that keeps the tribe safe, and basically inviting chaos right in.
And this isn't just some abstract theory, Look at the Hopi tribal courts, where witnesses actually invoke powerful Katsina spirits. Lying there isn't just perjury, it's seen as a kind of spiritual contamination that requires the whole community to be ceremonially cleansed. Or think about the Pashtun concept of Nanawatai. Truthful testimony grants you this sacred asylum. A lie doesn't just get you into a bit of trouble, it voids that sacred protection completely. Truth creates the boundary.
Now, this old covenantal logic is pretty unique to this worldview. So to really get a grip on its significance, we've got to compare it to how other value systems would tackle the exact same problem.
And right here, you can really see the clash of logics. So the purple mindset, as we've seen, upholds absolute truth to preserve that sacred order. But a red mindset, which is all about power, it calculates things differently. It asks, what protects me and my crew? And in that world, truth becomes flexible. Then you have the blue mindset, which follows a universal moral order. It might actually decide to lie, believing that the higher principle of saving an innocent person justifies breaking the court's rules. So you've got 3 different worldviews and 3 totally different answers to the same question.
Okay, we have to add some really important nuance here. This is not some blanket rule for all traditional cultures. It really hinges on the belief that the court itself is a legitimate, sacred space. If that system is seen as corrupt or illegitimate, well, that sacred obligation just disappears. And of course, taking an absolute stance on truth can lead to some genuinely tragic outcomes when you're dealing with an unjust system.
So why does any of this matter? Well, because understanding this hidden logic doesn't just solve a cool little puzzle, it fundamentally reframes how we should approach things like cross-cultural communication, ethics, and even global justice.
I mean, just think about the real-world impact.
A lawyer in an international court might finally get why one witness sees their testimony as this sacred vow, while another sees it as more of a strategic move. An ethicist can start designing better frameworks that account for both ritual integrity and universal justice. And really, any leader of a diverse team gets a new map for navigating those super tense moments when personal loyalty and formal truth collide.
So the crucial takeaway is this. It's not about labeling one worldview as primitive and another as advanced. Red, blue, and purple, they aren't better or worse, they just operate on fundamentally different logics. The goal here is to see and understand those logics so we can actually start to bridge the gaps between them.
And all of this leaves us with a final, really challenging question. We've seen a type of conscience that is fiercely tribal, one that's willing to sacrifice an individual to protect the integrity of its world. And we also know a conscience that strives for a universal principle of justice for every single person. Can those two ever be truly reconciled? Can our conscience be both tribal and universal? That's definitely something to chew on.